Hi students, today we're going to talk about um, interest rate sensitivity. But basically we're going to talk about what's called the alpha beta thetas model. This is a PhD model. It's a little bit big, but I simplify things so we can get it for our class purpose. You will go in the files, you'll find the document. When you go to Canvas, share screen. When you go to Canvas, you'll find alpha, beta, thetas analysis. You will find a folder where you can find this Word document where we talk about general equilibrium model here that understand the relationship between macroeconomy and financial market. So the way we're going to teach this model, as I said, I'm simplifying things. First theory, then empirical. The theory, we have 4 players. We have household that maximize consumption. We have companies that maximize the profit. A household want to have consumption smoothing, not high and low, up and down. They want to have a consumption smoothing. Companies maximize the profit. Government goal is to re-election, so they help people so they can re-elect it. And Federal Reserve, low unemployment and low inflation. How that work? The government regulate things, and then companies can work with the government. They pay taxes. The government is a partner for all companies in America. All companies between 21% to 35%, depends on what type of company. So the government partner with these companies, and sometimes the companies give service to the government, so the government get paid to the companies. The companies ask services for household labor mainly, and then government tax household, and then sometimes so household pay taxes, but sometimes the government give contracts, subsidies and healthcare and education, so the government gives something back. So this is a relationship. You can ask me, where is the Federal Reserve? Well, Federal Reserve is above all of those. The Federal Reserve is the wise guy, as in the Godfather movie. So they oversight everything here. If they like it, they do nothing. If you didn't like it, they play with the interest rate and money supply, so they meet their goals: low unemployment and low inflation. The empirical. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to build from partial equilibrium model, go down to general equilibrium model. The first model that we want to do is the company performance. RTG is company J return at time T. RF is risk-free return at time T, equal alpha J. Alpha J is a constant, plus mu T. Mu T is reflect the unobservable, which is an error term, reflect the unobservable. RTG minus RTF, we call this excess return for company G. So basically RT, why we take the return minus RF, the risk-free return? Because the inflation. If the company return is 20%, but the inflation 25%, that's not good. So we deduct the RF, which is interest rate, which is a proxy for inflation. That's the way we do it. And then we want to see how company this here making profit in this framework and given the Federal Reserve, how the company average return. And that's something we're going to start with it. To get the company return, all what you have to do is go to Yahoo Finance. And suppose we want to take JP Morgan as a company of interest. You can choose any company. And when you do the video, please choose different company, JP Morgan. Every company has a ticker. You click on JP Morgan. If you want to do Amazon, then you do Amazon, AMZN. Click on Amazon, whatever you want to do. Apple, AAPL. That's Apple here. Anyway, we'll go with the JP Morgan. And then they ask you, what do you want to do? Historical prices? Yes. You want to daily? No. Our analysis is monthly. You do max and apply, and then download. When you download that, we're pretty much done. You have to calculate the return. Return equal the closing price minus the closing price last month divided by the closing price last month, and double click. So this is JP Morgan. We need the RF for our model. Also, we need to calculate this equation. We need the RF. But all of these, I put them already together. So here you have to choose different companies. This is a JP Morgan, but I want you to choose a different company. And I want you to start from 95. Doesn't matter. 95 should be fine, 30 years of data. And then RG minus RF. So I got the RF here. RG minus RF, which is B2. Let me make it clear here. RG minus RF, it's B2 minus E2. E2 is RF divided by 100. That will be this one. Keep in your mind, RF is a percentage. In percentage. This is not in percentage. So you have to do apples with apple. You do that. So what you need to choose a different company and put the numbers here, and then you're going to be fine. Because the rest of the data, you can use it for any other company. All right. Now I have RG minus RF, which is the company excess return. Go back here. RG minus RF, RTG minus RFT. That's a company excess return. Equal alpha J plus MUT. So now what I want to do is to report how much alpha J, which tell me how much a company performed given the economy setup. So this is the first measure I want to calculate, which is partial equation 2.1. 2.1 is partial equilibrium model at 2.1. And then we have a 2.2, 2.4, up to 2.4. So let's do that. This data, this Excel file, you will have it, the Excel file will be also in Canvas. From where I got this data set, I have, toward the end, I'll explain that. But you can have a link, so it's here. All this data set, here you can see the link from where I got it, like RTG, RM, market return, which I'm going to talk about it later, from Yahoo Finance. So back to the model 2.1, I want to estimate model 2.1, which is this one. And then I want to do is the regression. So what you do, you go data, you should have a data analysis. If you don't have it, so the way you do it, you go options, and then add-ins, go. Let me pause, see what's the problem. Okay, so I fixed the problem with Excel. You go files, options, add-ins, go. So what we need data analysis. Suppose you unclick all of those. Okay, so these are gonna go. So what you need to add them. Options, add-ins, go. So analysis toolbar, yes, and this one too. Okay, then you can get it here. Data analysis, then you say what you want to do. We're going to do regression. And you say, okay, what is your Y? Again, what is our Y here? Our Y here is RTG minus RF. Good. So this is RTG RG minus RF, that's our Y. So what I need to do is this all the way here. And then our X is nothing, basically ones. So to get the ones, I need to create a variable here that is ones. So I need to cancel this, cancel. So what I need to do, I need one, which is a constant. One. And let me trim the data from the bottom also. The interest rate now is 0. Let me stop at June. At June. June is enough. June 21 is enough. So back, we're going to go data analysis, regression. What is our Y? Our Y is the excess return. What is our X? Our X is the constant, which is alpha J basically. Do you want labels? Yes, because the first row we added. And okay. Then we got the intersection is 0.01, and that is our alpha. So this is our alpha so far. So our alpha is this number. Now let's go back and read the regression. The regression here is saying adjusted R square. It's important to understand adjusted R square reflects the fitness of the model between 0 and 1, where 0 not fit, perfectly not fit, and 1 means perfectly fit. Now it's between 0 and 1.5, 0.4, 0.3. It should be here, R square. This is R square. It's almost 0, so that means the model, the partial equilibrium model, is not good. And T stat 2.5. T stat measures the significance of the coefficient. And this is the coefficient. Let me make it in green. This is the coefficient. So if T stat above 2, we say statistically significant. If it's between 1.5 and 2, then we say that weakly statistically significant, and if it's below 1.5, we say not significant, not statistically significant. So I'm going to do that again to make sure we got it. You regress, you go data analysis, you regress the C, over the x. X the constant is, and then you say a label because we use the rows. We use the first row with the labels, and you do okay, and you get these numbers. So you can see R square reflects the fitness of the model between 0 and 1, where 0 perfectly not fit, and not fit, and 1 means perfectly fit. So the number will be between 0 and 1. T stat. This is a T stat. T stat measures the significance of the coefficient. If T stat above 2, that means statistically significant. If it's between 1.5 and 2, weakly statistically significant. Below 1.5 become to be not statistically significant. And this is the coefficient, the green intercept. Basically, this is the alpha j, and it's a coefficient. This is the coefficient. Alpha j. Okay. So now what we've done the first model, which is 2.1 partial equilibrium, which is company has some return, and we find for JP Morgan, the alpha for JP Morgan, in this case 1% a month, about 1% every month. This means 1% average return in a month. Good. So that's number one. Now we're gonna go to the second model, which is semi partial equilibrium. It is the same model, RTG minus RF plus alpha J plus beta multiplied by RM minus RF. So beta is the coefficient we want to estimate, and it reflects the risk of the company. RM is a market return, RF is a risk-free. We're going to go back to the data here. Now we're going to regress the Y, this is our Y, over a constant and the risk premium. RM minus RF is a risk premium. RM minus RF, we call it risk premium or stock market access return. So that's the second model we're going to do. And we're going to do it again here. And this, we need to regress this one and this one. So we're going to go again, data. As I said, you go files, options, add ends, go, and you click these toolbars. You say, okay, then you get data analysis, you click on it, regression, okay. Now the same Y, but the X is, this is the X now. So the X is this one, market risk premium. Now the intercept becomes to be the new alpha, and look at the T-stat, it's not statistically significant. Now we have a new alpha, copy. Now we have a new alpha. And now we have, this is the beta, which reflect the riskiness of the company. And it shows that JP Morgan risk is 38. So beta company J risk reflect the risk of the company relative to the market. Market risk S&P is constructed to be 1. If P beta J 0.12, this means then this means that company company's J risk is 20% higher than the market risk. All right, so now if you look to the This is 2.2 model, 2.2. This is 2.1 model. This is 2.2. Now look at the R square is 0.46. So R square now is higher, 0.46. That means almost that the market explain almost 50% of the company's return. It's almost 46%, I should say, of company return. I just explained this. What is that R square? What's the coefficient? What's T-stat? Let's look at the T-stat here. The T-stat 16, that means very statistically significant. The coefficient is 1.38, so that's good. Let me add this R square. Let me add the R square to the table. Oh, it's already here. And here is this. Now we're going to go semi-general equilibrium model, which is, now we got the market. Now so far we talked about the economy for companies, economy and companies, how they operate financial market. What about the government? So basically we take care of this, how household and companies helping each other, but we've ignored the government. Now we need to add the government to the equation. That would be the third one. That would be the theta. So we're going to have the same company, RTG minus RF, or alpha J, beta J, plus theta 1 political sensitivity, political cycle, sorry, plus theta 2 government spending. Theta 1 political sensitivity company, reflect the political sensitivity. On political cycles, we say that binary variable takes a value of 1 if the president is Democrat at time t, 0 otherwise. Theta 2 is a coefficient for government spending. Sensitivity and government spending reflects the dollar amount of government spending. Good. Good. So we have everything almost. So gonna go back here. So we have that. What's a political cycle? 1 if the president is Democrat, 0 otherwise. So recall in 95 was Clinton, the president. So it was 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 till Bush 2001, January. Then we put zeros because Bush in power till President Obama came in 2009, January. Then Obama, then Trump in January 2017. Then Trump and then Biden 2021. Those are Biden's months. So we have 2 different presidents, 1 Democrat, 1 Republican. So we want to see if political cycle, whether the president is Democrat or Republican, influence company profit and government spending. I got this government spending from when I go to resources, I explain from where I got it. It's a quarterly. So I divided the quarter by 3. So you can see every like January, February, March, the same. And then because I divided, it's a quarterly data, so I divided by 3. All right. So now what I regress again, the market company excess return versus these 3. So we're going to go again to data, do the regression. Okay. The same Y. Now the X is different. We want this, this, and this. Keep the labels. Okay, now the R square is this. Look, it's slightly better than before. So, and then what we have here, political cycle is the T-stat. So now is low, not significant. So that means this company is not politically So that's a theta one, basically. That's a theta one. Means negative is negative, theta one is negative. Means the company favored by a Republican. But the T-stat is very small, but not statistically significant. That means this company favored by nobody. How about spending, government spending? Well, the T-stat is also not significant. So whether the government spend or not doesn't influence their business. So that will be 2.3 model. I forgot to mention here. Here is so if theta one equal 0, that means this company is not politically sensitive. If theta one is greater than 1, greater than 0, then favored by Democrat. If below 0, favored by Republican. Now we go to the next thing, which is semi. Then we're gonna go to the general equilibrium. When we add, so now we added the government here. In 2.3, we added the government. Now we need to introduce the Federal Reserve. 2.4 model is general equilibrium model. And now we're going to add the Federal Reserve with the interest rate, effective interest rate. Theta 3J will be Federal Reserve interest rate sensitivity of company J, and interest rate, I should say effective interest rate. Interest rate. So now I'll go talk about data sources later on, but let me do the last exercise. And then we can have you in a general equilibrium model, and then I'll do other things, and that's it. So that will be theta 1. That will be theta 2. That will be beta in the model. And the intercept will be the alpha. So we need to report that in the table. That's alpha. That's a beta. That's a theta 1. And that's a theta 2. Notice political cycle and government spending doesn't matter here. The T-stat still the market, the household. So we go here. Company's a profit. This company mainly going from business with household. Now the last thing is the Federal Reserve. Now we're gonna add the Federal Reserve that oversight everything. The father or the parents, the mother of all of these players, the parents of these players. So we're gonna add the interest rate. We're gonna go back here. We're gonna go again, data, regression. Again, the same way. Now our X is gonna be also include effective interest rate. And okay. And now that's the final output, the R square. just a little bit better than before. And then the results are the following. The alpha is this. That's a beta. That's pretty much the same. Oh, sorry, here. Okay. The political cycle doesn't matter. The government spending doesn't matter. Not statistically significant. And finally, the interest rate is T-stat also small. It doesn't matter. So what's the takeaway here from this company, which is happened to be JP Morgan? Well, the takeaway is simple, that this company making a profit without government, with high interest rate or without high interest rate. This company doing great, regardless of power, Democrat or Republican, it doesn't matter. Because we saw this theta here is near zero and here theta is small. With the Federal Reserve raising interest rate or not, doesn't matter. JP Morgan is JP Morgan. They're doing great here. And that explains one of the reasons why banks are always winners, because it doesn't matter who's a company, a government, they're doing always good. So this is the exercise I want you to do for this week. I want you to do general equilibrium model. I want you to choose a different company, JP Morgan. This is a JP Morgan general equilibrium model. So I want you to do a different company and report for me this table. We'll see if some companies will be biased for Democrat, some companies biased for Republican, some companies biased to interest rate. So we're going to see the sensitivity. Now, if you want to extend the model here, I talked about US government, companies, and household, but what about export and import? What about the world? Well, then, if you want to add the world, then you have to add another variable about the exchange rate, US dollar, strength of the dollar. So that means you need to add another variable here, which is the exchange rate. Then you can have how export, import, exchange rate. How it's going to work. So finally, you can see here toward the earned, I mentioned that here are the sources for the government spending. I got it from Federal Reserve, St. Louis. Here is the data. We go monthly, so you change that to, so that's federal spending quarterly. I divide it by 3. From Yahoo Finance, I got this. From Yahoo Finance, also I got the S&P benchmark. So from Yahoo Finance, I got company return and S&P benchmark. Effective interest rate, I got it from here. And I want it to be monthly, so I did it monthly. And then what you do, download an Excel. You download it, you get it, and you get the period that you want. And our period from 95 till June, I guess. From enable. From 95 till June. Oops, I forgot to do something here. When you want to get the data, you have to do max, and then download. So you get more longer one. And then the RF, I got it from a French library. He got Nobel Prize, this guy. You go to this one, CVS. You open it and open it again. And this is the one we got. So now this is 1926. We want to have 1995. So you have to go a little bit down from here and take them all the way down. So these are the data set. Yahoo Finance, I got the company RM. So what's your homework? Your homework is simple. Not simple. Hopefully it's clear. You choose a different company. I choose JP Morgan. Choose a different company other than JP Morgan. When you choose it, put the number here. Make sure when you get something from JP Morgan, when you do the paste values, put them here. But when you put that here, everything will be nice. And then you regress the first one and second model and the third model, fourth model. I'll report the results here. Put that in, record your video, show me the video and the Excel. Don't attach Excel. The video is enough. From the video, I can see what you're doing. I just want to say, like the first model, you see it constant. So the way to do it properly for the first model, here's another way to do it. Will give you better results. Regression. So the same way, now the X is constant and zero, constant 0 and do okay. So that will give you the same number, but different R square. So you do the first model. And then you do the second model, data regression, which is the Y, sorry, it should be the same Y. Is this? The X's, now the X's are just this one, the second model. You regress it and check this one and check it. And then you should get whatever we got here the same. And you do that and you get some inference, how the company is, how the company influenced by the government, how government by Federal Reserve. And that's what we call it, the alpha beta thetas model. This is the alpha beta thetas model. I want you to report this table using this model. Hopefully you enjoy this exercise and you learn a little bit about general equilibrium model. Thank you.